Hello everyone. Today, we'll be seeing how fast Hitmonlee can beat Pokemon Yellow in a solo run challenge. Let's get straight into the video. For this week of Pokemon Yellow, we're going to be doing two main interesting fighting types. We'll be doing Hitmonlee and then Hitmonchan later in the week. These two are going to be nothing alike in this game, but for now, we're going to start off with Hitmonlee. Most people consider Hitmonlee to be one of the best fighting type Pokemon in Gen 1, and that's not really saying much because the fighting type in Gen 1 is often considered the worst type in Gen 1 because a lot of the fighting types have really bad stats. They're weak to so many Pokemon in the game, including all of the psychic types, and they tend to have very low special stats, making that weakness even worse. And I can definitely prove that with Hitmonlee's stats. We have 50 HP, 120 attack, which is incredible, 53 defense, only 35 special, and 87 speed. With this low of HP and special, anything that's a special move, even if it's like Ember or Water Gun, is going to be dealing devastating amounts of damage, and I can guarantee any psychic move is most likely going to one-shot us. But besides stats, one reason people like to say that fighting is one of the worst types in Gen 1 is because there really are not many good fighting moves. For most Pokemon, their best fighting type move is Submission, which is an 80 power move with a 20% chance to miss and it does recoil damage, or by level up it might just be Low Kick. Because most Pokemon, that's pretty much all the fighting type moves they're gonna get. But Hitmonlee though is the pure exception. It gets a lot of fighting moves. We start off with Double Kick and Meditate. Meditate raises our attack by one stage, so it'll be helpful with boosting our fighting type damage, plus it'll help with the badge boost glitch later. And then throughout the levels we get Rolling Kick, which is just a pure garbage move. It's a 60 power move with 85 accuracy. Since Double Kick hits twice, it's literally just a worse version of Double Kick. And then at 38 we get Jump Kick and then Focus Energy, which is bugged in Gen 1 because it quarters your crit rate instead of doubling it. And then at level 48 we get High Jump Kick, then Mega Kick. High Jump Kick is pretty much the best fighting type move in all of Generation 1, and I believe Hitmonlee is the only Pokemon that can learn this move. So the fact that Hitmonlee gets all the good fighting moves kind of gives it one of the better movesets, but if you look at its TM set, it's really not that good at all. It's just normal and fighting type moves, but on the bright side we get Body Slam on the SSN, so that'll definitely help out a lot for move coverage, especially against all of the poison types which will resist fighting type moves. For right now though, having only Double Kick and Meditate is definitely one of the better movesets. We're obviously going to have a very easy time against Brock, but funnily enough, it's actually going to be all the bug catchers that are going to be hard because the bug type resists the fighting type, and since the poison type does as well, when we eventually start fighting Weedles after Brock, it's going to be doing only a quarter damage. So yeah, it's going to be all the way until Mega Punch, where we'll have to keep spamming Double Kick. But right now, I'm just going to defeat the only mandatory trainer in the Viridian Forest, and then go all the way to Brock's gym, and let's go take on the very first gym leader. He leads off with Geodude. I use only one Meditate, which allows Double Kick to be a 2-shot, and then on the Onix, it barely gets off any attacks on me. Fortunately, it doesn't use Bind, and then Double Kick is able to 3-shot it, and Brock is defeated. You may think that looked easy, but check out this guy. This is the first trainer right after Brock. I'm going to have to set up multiple Meditates on this first Caterpie, just to have even Double Kick do decent damage. I mean, look at this. Double Kick is going to be a 2 to 3 shot on Weedle at +2 attack, so yeah, this is definitely going to take quite a bit. I also need to be careful with some of the other random trainers here. For example, there's this youngster with the Rattata and the Ekans. The Ekans here can spam Wrap, which would be pretty devastating, but fortunately I won't have to worry about that. And also, for the next trainer, I could fight either the Bug Catcher or the Lass. I normally just fight the Bug Catcher, but today, since all of his Pokemon are going to resist Double Kick, I think fighting the Lass is going to be the better idea. And now with Route 3 behind us, we can enter Mount Moon. There's only one thing of interest I'd like to point out here, is that this thing can learn the TM for Mega Punch, which is honestly kind of funny because this is the kicking Pokemon, yet it can learn Mega Punch. But hey, I'm not going to complain about it. This thing really needs a normal type move bad. Sadly though, on the Super Nerd, I actually forgot to teach the move, and now I have to defeat his poison types with Double Kick, but fortunately I never get punished, and I am still able to win. But if I had remembered to teach Mega Punch, this whole fight would have gone a lot quicker. But after the fight though, I do teach Mega Punch, get the Helix Fossil, and now I have to fight Jesse and James. You don't fight these people in Red and Blue or in the remakes, so they're only here. But all it really takes is one Meditate on the Ekans and just spam Mega Punch. Although, these two can be very difficult at some later fights. I'll be sure to point it out if there are any problems. And now, we can arrive in Cerulean City. We have two choices. We either fight Rival 2 or Misty. And with how low our special is, I think Rival 2 might be the better idea. His Spearow though could definitely be an issue, because if it hits us with Peck, which it does on the first turn, it does around 20 damage, but fortunately, with only one Meditate, I am able to destroy the rest of his team, although that could have been bad, but fortunately, Rival 2 has random AI, so his Spearow is not guaranteed to use Peck every turn. I just got pretty unlucky. And now, with the Rival defeated, I have to go through Nugget Bridge and defeat this cluster of mandatory trainers, as someone notable would say. But there is one thing I like to point out here. I have to defeat this hiker right here in order to get this junior trainer to move down, and then I can get the TM for Seismic Toss. This is another fighting type move a bunch of Pokemon can get. It just does fixed damage based on your level. However, this Pokemon absolutely needs Seismic Toss because it currently does not have a way to hit ghosts, such as the Agatha Junior trainer with the 2 Ghastlies in Pokemon Tower. If I didn't have Seismic Toss to hit them, which Seismic Toss can only hit them in Gen 1, I would have to use Bide, which would be incredibly bad, especially with how bad our HP is. Now with Bill rescued, I defeat the Goldeen trainer in Misty's gym. Fortunately, I have no problems, and now we can take on Misty. For Misty, I try to set up as many Meditates as I can because I'm really not that scared about it. And then on the Starmie, I unfortunately miss Mega Punch, and then it hits me with Bubble Beam, giving me my first reset of the run. Okay, that was a bit unlucky. On the next attempt though, I get back to +4, level up to 23, and even though Starmie got an X defend, it still was a one-shot with Mega Punch, so yeah, I just got unlucky on the first battle, but hey, I still win. Let's move on. Now as I leave town, I defeat the Rocket right here, get the TM for Dig, which I unfortunately cannot learn, so I'll have to save that for Charmander when I teach it Dig and Cut. And then I can go all the way down to Vermilion City and make it to the SS Anne. The first thing I want to do here is go into this room right here and get the TM for Body Slam. I also go in this room right here, defeat the Gentleman Candy right here, and then get the rare candy he guards, and now I have to fight Rival 3. Rival 3 is generally one of the worst rival battles in all of Gen 1. Funnily enough, this battle he actually does have good AI, but it's not like his Spearow can take advantage of that fact, because I'm just going to one-shot it anyway, which is pretty funny. And then I can get the HM for Cut, and then leave the SS Anne. I will not be needing rest today, so I did in fact skip it. But now coming up ahead is one of the most inconsistent gym leaders. There are runs where he's an absolute menace, and there's some where he's a piece of cake. However though, with how bad our special stat is, I think he can be pretty bad, so let's go ahead and roll his intro. He has one level 28 Raichu. He starts off with one Thunderbolt, leaving me at 3 hit points, and then he goes for another Thunderbolt, giving me a reset. Okay, I kinda figured we'd get one reset. On the next attempt though, he used an X speed while he already outsped. I hit him with Double Kick, he hits me with Mega Punch, letting me live, and then my second Double Kick knocks it out, and I win. This is why I say Surge is an inconsistent gym leader. And then I get the Bike Voucher, get the Squirtle for Surf and Strength, and then I go in the Diglett's Cave, dig back to Cerulean City, and now we can do the Route 9 Rock Tunnel Gauntlet of Trainers. There really isn't anything notable here to talk about. With Double Kick, Seismic Toss, and Body Slam, mainly just Body Slam, I pretty much just have a solution for most of these trainers. However though, I do want to mention that the Slowpoke trainers in here do have good AI, so they will only spam Confusion. Fortunately on the Slowpoke Cubone trainer, I get a crit, so it doesn't matter, but the second one does live, fortunately only doing a third, so I am able to get past him, although I've had runs previously with this Pokemon. This isn't my first playthrough, by the way. I've had a run where I've gotten 2 resets on all of those Slowpoke guys, so it was really nice that I didn't get any resets today. And then the self-destructing hiker is easy, and then we can leave Rock Tunnel and make our way to Cerulean City. The first thing I do when I get inside of Celadon is I go to the department store, buy 7 Super Repels, get the TM per counter, get 2 Pokedolls, and then go to the roof and get all of these TMs from this little girl, and then get an extra fresh water. I'm going to be selling a lot of these items to get some vitamins, so that means today's vitamin of the day is 3 protein. Honestly, I feel like this may have been a bad choice. I think I should have gotten Carbos just because I have Meditate to just boost my attack anyway, plus Hitmonlee does have some speed problems in Yellow, especially since in Yellow version, a lot of the trainers have very fast Pokemon, like Koga's Venomoth has 103 speed, Sabrina's Alakazam is around the 120s I believe, I don't remember off the top of my head, but the point is, they're fast. So I probably should have gotten Carbos, but oh well, not a big deal. Anyway, now I can head to Pokemon Tower, completely destroy the rival here. Oh, fun fact, his Fearow, due to his good AI, will only spam Mirror Move, so do not use Body Slam on it, because if it Mirror Moves Body Slam, it could paralyze you. I've had to learn this the hard way in the past. So now, I can get to this Ghastly trainer right here. This is what Seismic Toss was for. It will be a 2-shot on each of her Ghastly, and that goes the same for the remaining trainers Ghastly in this tower. So now I can give the Marowak the Pokédoll, and then go fight Jesse and James up top. Normally this is one of the Jesse and James fight that can be pretty dang difficult, especially since the Weezing with Sludge can be pretty tanky, but fortunately I just set up 1 Meditate on the Meowth and that's really all you need. So now with Jesse and James defeated, I get the Pokeflute, and then I fly back to Celadon City and go do the Safari Zone stuff. I know some people in Scott's solo running Discord server, like they will try to avoid the Safari Zone at all costs if they're too low of a level because they don't want to risk encountering stuff in the Safari Zone, but honestly, it's just a sacrifice you kind of have to make because I would really like to get Fuchsia City on the map, plus get all the useful vitamins and items that are in the Safari Zone. I feel like it's just one of those things you just have to accept in my opinion. It doesn't help that in Pokemon Yellow, the levels there are a lot higher compared to Red and Blue, but it's not really a big deal. However though, while I am going through the cycling road, I do defeat the biker boss right here with the 5 Pokemon, and then if you go straight left and straight up, you get to encounter a guy with just a Weezing and a Muck. Also, something I really hate about Yellow version, the poison flashes are so freaking bright and absurd. I'm gonna try my best to not show them in these videos because I'm sure for some really photo-sensitive people, it would be quite bad to look at them. So I enter Fuchsia, heal at the center so my Hitmonlee doesn't die, and then I go to the Safari Zone, get the usual items, including the Gold Teeth and the HM4 Surf. And now there's 3 places I can go. I can either go fight Erika, Sylph, or Koga. Generally, Erika or the Sylph rival's the better bet, and today I choose to do Erika. Erika leads off with a level 30 Tangela. I go ahead and set up 1 Meditate, Body Slam only does 2/3, but then on the Weepinbell and the Gloom, they are both one-shots, so yeah, pretty dang easy. So now I am going to go straight to Silphco, and I'm going to do a bunch of training. Hitmonlee is going to really struggle with its low speed and low special stat in the late game, so I'm going to fight a lot of the trainers in Silphco while I can. Most of the trainers here actually have pretty decent teams of like Magneton, Weezing, Mux, Marowaks, Cubones, Golbats. Even the Coughings, just regular Coughings actually give good XP yield somehow. It's kind of surprising, but I do go fight a lot of the trainers here. I pick up a bunch of the vitamins to use. I get the rare candies here. I'm just gonna fight all the trainers that I need to, and I'm gonna fade back in to the Rival 5 battle. Although I do want to mention 39 minutes into the run, I was fighting the Rocket Grunt near the heal beds, the one with the Hypno, Golbat, and the Drowsy. I get put to sleep by the Drowsy, and then I get crit with Confusion, and by the time I wake up, it kills me. So now, since I didn't save, I actually have to take the Blackout and go all the way back into Sylph to continue my training. Well, that was dumb, but alright, let's go do the Rival now. First up is the Rival's Sand Slash. This thing, if it uses Slash, will do quite a lot of damage. The main goal is to try and set up only 2 Meditates and begin sweeping with Jump Kick. Fortunately, Jump Kick will actually one-shot the Cloyster, which is really impressive. And even though I get past the Magneton and I do level up, fortunately my speed is enough to naturally outspeed the Kadabra and the Flareon. So spamming Body Slam and Jump Kick doesn't provide any problem, and I first try the Rival. And then Jesse and James is up ahead. This fight isn't nearly as hard as the one in Pokemon Tower. Either way, doesn't provide me any issues. Giovanni though is the very last battle that's here. I used 1 Meditate on the Nidorino. I get poisoned with Poison Sting, but fortunately the poison doesn't do that much because I'm able to 1-2 shot his entire team, and the only thing the Nidoqueen does is just use Double Kick, fortunately not using Body Slam. So I am able to defeat him, and Silphco has been liberated. And now I could fight Sabrina, but I have learned it is never a good idea to challenge Sabrina right away. So I go back to Fuchsia and then defeat some of the trainers in Koga's gym for training. There are some people here with Arbok and Sandslash that are really good. However though, I decide to just skip them, and the only training I do is just the mandatory trainers. Okay, now let us go take on Koga. Koga leads off with his singular Venonat. My plan is to use 1 Meditate and then start spamming Jump Kick, although on the first battle, things don't really go good, and I end up getting a reset on the second Venonat. And then on the next attempt, I'm actually able to get +2, and even though I got hit with 2 Psychics, none of them give me a special defense drop, and I actually make it all the way to the Venomoth, but unfortunately, it is able to live just barely, and it is able to use Psychic, giving me another loss. Okay, I know what to do. I used a bunch of my rare candies to get to level 48, I set up 2 Meditates, and now with the higher level and +2 in my attack, even the Venomoth is a one-shot and Koga is defeated. I would like to delay Sabrina as long as I can, so I'll actually go on a swim down to Cinnabar Island, get the 2 rare candies inside the mansion, and honestly, I might actually go fight Blaine right away. The one advantage to fighting Blaine before Sabrina is that it does give you the badge boost to your special, which can actually help you during the Sabrina fight. So let's go ahead and see how Blaine goes. Blaine is one of the hardest gym leaders in Yellow, so hopefully he won't be an issue. Blaine leads off with his Ninetales. On the first turn, it only just uses Tail Whip while I set up 1 Meditate, and then I actually just one-shot his first 2 Pokemon with high Jump Kick. The Arcanine does live, but all it does is use Reflect and I win. Blaine doesn't even have good AI in Yellow. He honestly just played bad. I think he just pulled off a Bruno, which is kind of funny. So now with Blaine defeated, I go to Saffron, get Mimic, teach it to Hitmonlee, and now we can take on Sabrina as our 7th gym leader. She leads off with an Abra. I decided to be risky and use 1 Meditate on the Abra. Fortunately, it misses Flash because it's 70% accurate, plus the opponent has a built-in 25% deduction with moves like Flash in Gen 1, so it has a pretty decent chance of not hitting, and then I can outspeed and one-shot her entire team. But now, since we continue this gym leader spree, we've got 1 more leader to take care of. Generally one of the best gym leaders in Pokemon Yellow, we've got Giovanni. Giovanni leads off with Dugtrio, which fortunately I outspeed by 5, so it's not a big deal. And then on the Persian, I go ahead and set up a couple of meditates and knock it out with high jump kick. Then on the Nidoqueen, I knock it out with 2 body slams. Same as the Nidoking, I actually paralyzed him both times. Then on the Rhydon, I outspeed and high jump kick gets the one-shot. So yeah, Hitmonlee is just absolutely cooking right now. Let's see if he can keep this up though. We've got 6 more fights left. And the first one of those is the rival battle on Route 22. We're leading off with his Sandslash again. He attacks me with Fury Swipes as I set up 1 meditate. I go for a high jump kick, realizing that that's not enough, but I decide not to set up anymore on that thing and just go for the sweep. I defeat the Execute, the Cloyster, the Magneton, the Kadabra, and the Flareon with only 1 meditate, and I say no to high jump kick because we don't need it. Alright then. Alright, let's think about what we're going to do with the league. There's Lorelei, Agatha, Lance, the Champion, and a random hiker. The random hiker theoretically actually can cause an issue. I've had this happen in runs past, even when I was watching Zealous Pawn in my Discord server do his own Hitmonlee runs. I've noticed that the hiker can actually hurt you if his Machamp were to crit a submission or a strength, because your defense stat is still pretty dang low. It's not your defense, it's mainly your HP. Well, it's both. It's both your defense and your HP, but the point is, he can cause an issue. So, why don't we just honestly forget about all that? Why don't we just go head to the Pokemon League, buy some full restores, and go take on the final 5 trainers? Let's do this shit. Lorelei leads off with her Dewgong. Due to her good AI, she will just spam rest. However though, in yellow version, specifically with Lorelei's Dewgong, roughly 3 and 5 turns from what I've heard, it will just ignore its good AI and just attack randomly. This is mainly to prevent soft locks, like if you were to bring in a fighting type with only Rage and it just spammed rest and you would just never win or lose. But either way, I get set up and I completely destroy her whole team with high jump kick. Next up is the fighting type Elite 4 member, the Hiker. The whole Hiker team is just an absolute joke. I never even came close to dying. I mean, I get to half health, but still. Next up is the Ghost Elite 4 member, Agatha. The main plan for this fight, this is a genius strat thought of by Zealous Pawn. The main strat is to mimic Lick, set up some meditates, and then on her ghost types just spam Lick. However though, this is still a bit luck dependent because the Gengar keeps paralyzing me with Lick, which really irritates me. Plus the Gengar could just use Substitute, just costing time in general. But fortunately, I am able to get set up as much as I need, and then Lick will be enough to one-shot her ghosts, and then I can just body slam the Golbat and the Arbok. This does take a few attempts though. Next up is the Dragon type Elite 4 member, Lance. Lance leads with his Gyarados. I use 1 meditate, it goes for Hyper Beam. I try to set up to +4, which was definitely quite risky because now I'm also at -2 defense. But once I defeat the Gyarados, I just body slam the Dragonairs, high jump kick the Aerodactyl, and then I body slam the Dragonite for a one-shot. Alright then, now let us go fight the champion of Kanto. He leads off with Sandslash. I go ahead and use 1 meditate. It hits me with Earthquake, not doing too much, does slightly less than half. And then on the Sandslash, I go for high jump kick, miss, and I take 1 damage and recoil. That's not good. But then when I actually land high jump kick, I realized it still left it in red health, so I think I'm gonna need a bit more setup than that. On the second attempt, guess what? The exact same thing happened. I used 1 meditate, missed high jump kick, and then it still lived in low health. I have no idea why I didn't just use my 2 meditates right here. I'm so confused. Then on the Alakazam, I one-shot it with Body Slam. Then the Exeggutor, I two-shot it. It missed Hypnosis. And then on the Magneton, I use High Jump Kick. The Cloyster, I use High Jump Kick. And then on the Flareon, I level up, use High Jump Kick, and I beat the champion. Okay, I played this champion fight kind of bad. I really should have just used 2 Meditates there. Wow, that was something. But anyway, Hitmonlee has beaten Pokemon Yellow with a time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 24 seconds, with 10 resets at level 62, with a game time at the Hall of Fame of 2 hours and 52 minutes. If we take a look at our leaderboard here, Hitmonlee actually didn't do too bad. It did do better than Seadra and Jinx, but it did a bit worse than Dewgong, Poliwrath, and Venusaur. Poliwrath mainly just had Hypnosis and Body Slam as its best moves. Dewgong just had good moves overall, and Hitmonlee being right behind. Hitmonlee itself had really good moves. I think if I didn't get all those resets at Agatha, this thing could theoretically have beaten Venusaur with good luck. But the main problem with this thing, its defense, its special, and its HP are all just so ridiculously low that even though this thing gets the best fighting type moves in Gen 1, with how bad its stats are, if you want a really good fighting type, do something with a bit better of a stat spread, like Machamp or Poliwrath. But anyway, this is still technically one of the best fighting types. And if you want to see one of the worst fighting types, just wait till later in the week when we play this same game with Hitmonchan. Oh boy, this thing is most likely going to be one of the worst fighting types I've ever played. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and be sure to follow my socials or support me through YouTube memberships. All YouTube members get access to all the patch files we've ever done on live streams for backported solo runs. So yeah, that's a fun thing if you want that. Anyway, I will see you all in the next video.